Hey everybody, welcome back to Football Talk with Vinny. In today's video, we're going to be going over the Green Bay Packers. So the Green Bay Packers had a pretty quiet offseason. There's really nothing that really went on, nothing really to talk about. Obviously, I'm joking. So the offseason started off, really didn't hear too much about the Aaron Rodgers situation until around draft day. So before that happened, we'll get into a couple of the offseason moves. In terms of free agents that they lost, so they lost a couple of offensive linemen in Ricky Wagner, the right tackle, Corey Linsley, the center. They also lost Jamal Williams and Christian Kirksey, the linebacker. So you definitely have a couple of areas you need to address in the offseason in terms of whether it's free agents that you pick up or in the draft. So obviously you do have some holes to fill. Good news is you were able to re-sign a bunch of guys back on your roster to kind of keep the continuity together somewhat. So you re-signed guys like Preston Smith, Mercedes Lewis, Kevin King, Robert Tonyan, Alan Lazard, and obviously Aaron Jones was a big one as well. And then in terms of free agency, you got Devontae Campbell was really the only name that I saw. Obviously, they did trade for Randall Cobb, actually just a couple days ago, so we'll get into that as well, but more later in the video. And then obviously come draft day, right, you already kind of knew what your needs was, and then the big news story comes out that Aaron Rodgers probably doesn't want to play in Green Bay anymore, and what are you supposed to do there? And then the rest of the offseason kind of was just the Aaron Rodgers show in terms of every day on all sports channels. It was just, what's the news story with Aaron Rodgers? And then people would report what they thought was new, and it's like, it's not even really new, you're not even really saying anything, it's just the offseason's kind of dead at this point, and we just need a topic to talk about. But if you're a Green Bay Packer fan, or obviously in the organization, that is a very big deal, that your star player, and one of the best quarterbacks in the league does not want to play for you anymore. So you do have to try to work through that and try to get him to agree to play for you. Now, obviously, after a long offseason, they were able to make some concessions, right? I talked about it in a previous video. Once he finally agreed to report to training camp and be a part of the Green Bay Packers organization for this season. But let's just get into the draft real quick. So with the first round pick, they took Eric Stokes, a corner. A lot of people went ballistic because they wanted Green Bay to take a wide receiver. Pick 62, you address the center position in Josh Myers. Pick 85, you address the wide receiver position with Amari Rodgers. And then the rest of the draft, couple picks, but out of the top 100, so I'm going to go over them quickly. At pick 142, you took an offensive lineman in Royce Newman. Pick 173, a defensive tackle in TJ Slayton. And then pick 178, you took a corner, Shamar Jean Charles. Pick 214, an offensive lineman, Cole Van Lenen. At pick 220, you took a linebacker in Isaiah McDuffie. And then lastly, at pick 256, you took a running back in Kylan Hill. So I'm really, unfortunately, not like most Packer fans. Obviously, I'm not a Packers fan, but I don't really see a problem with not taking a wide receiver in the first round, really ever. When you have a quarterback as special as Aaron Rodgers does, he makes average and above average level players much better than they are. I think you see a lot of teams actually do this. A lot of teams that have those elite level quarterbacks, they don't take wide receivers high because, again, your quarterback is so good that they can make players better. And at that point, again, you only have so much money. So if you spend a lot of big money on a wide receiver when you know you don't have to and you can still get elite production because of Aaron Rodgers, it's better to try to spend that money at other positions to help Aaron Rodgers, like the defensive side of the ball. Most of his playoff losses have not come because he's played poorly. It's because he's put up 30 plus points and the defense has given up 40 plus points. So I really like, drafting on the defensive side and trying to get some stops to help Aaron Rodgers not have to score 35 in a playoff game to win. Now, in terms of the money, this is the only team that's in a worse cap situation than the Dallas Cowboys. They have $10.5 million for this year, but next year they're $49 million in the hole. They are the worst team. If you look at overthecap.com for next year, they are in the worst spot. Now, obviously, with the rework deal, if they decide to trade Aaron Rodgers, a lot of the cap space will be alleviated from moving off of Aaron Rodgers. But then also, you're losing Aaron Rodgers. So now you're losing a top 5, probably a top 2 quarterback in the league. But again, if you're a Packer fan, you don't really care about the future at this point. You are just having to be all in on this current season. Kind of like he shared in his story, it's kind of like the last dance for him in Green Bay. If he's back and he plays, you almost can't not like them as the favorites to come out of the NFC. Again, they've been to back-to-back NFC championship games. They re-signed a lot of their key guys. They used their first-round pick to try to address the defensive side of the ball again. You know, again, like the Bucks got a touchdown with like no time remaining at halftime. How, if you're the corner, do you let that happen? How do you let the receiver behind you? So again, I think they tried to fill some of the holes. Again, you've got an MVP caliber quarterback in Aaron Rodgers. And again, when you get to the playoffs, they have as good a chance as any team in the league to win the Super Bowl. In terms of a win rate this year, I mean, I would say anywhere from 12 to 14 wins. I think it's a pretty safe estimate. Obviously barring like an injury. And not just an injury, but an injury to like Aaron Rodgers or something, you know? Because I think they can withstand a couple injuries to a couple other positions. Because as long as you got Aaron Rodgers, you should be fine. But that's it for today's video. If you did like it, make sure to hit the like button, as that does help out the channel a lot. But again, that's it for today's video, and I look forward to the next one. Bye.